All right guys, so today we're gonna be moving a staircase. Now this staircase is going to go over here and kind of box in or cover up this mechanical area, and the storage or closet below the new staircase over here will be that mechanical area. So the first thing that you'll notice, or the first thing that we're going to tackle, is we're going to seal up this stairwell. And basically right now these posts and this beam are supporting these joists. Really just 1, 2, 3 joists. The other one runs the full length. So what we need to do is put some new joists in here that span from the foundation to the beam. That way then we can remove this header and post, or beam and post, whatever you want to call them. So we'll get these new joists in here and kind of seal this off, or be able to carry this load all the way across, and then we can move on to working on our new staircase location. Okay, so I got my new joists in here. Now they're not nailed in place or anything to the existing joists, and I haven't done that yet because what I can notice is that the existing joists are actually sagging a little bit, and I can see a little bit of deflection in this beam here, this 4x4 that they used as a beam. So what we need to do is we need to jack up these existing joists. I could cut them out because we've got new joists in there, but I'm going to use the strength that we have, and also they're nailed to the subfloor above. So I'm going to jack those up so that they're nice and flush with these new joists, and then we'll clamp them and nail them in place and solidify this whole span here over the stairs. Using a stair stringer calculator online, I was able to figure out the total run of my steps, and I knew the width I wanted to be around 4 feet. So once I got those located, those dimensions drawn onto the floor exactly where I wanted them, then I was able to use a laser level to project those onto the ceiling and get that all drawn out in place. I finished up by drilling some holes through the corners, and then I connected those upstairs and finished those cuts with a circular saw, and then removed all that subfloor for the new opening. I've gone ahead and cut my opening for my new stairwell. Now the issue is that I can't simply just cut these joists because they're not bearing on anything. They're just going to fall down on this side. So in order to circumvent that, or to build out the structure that's supporting, I need a double, I believe they're called trimmer. So a double 2x8 here that will span all the way across from my beam to my foundation, one on that end as well. And then I can place a joist hanger on this end and run a double 2x8 all the way down this side of the opening, and hang these with joist hangers to that double trimmer on this side of the opening. So I'm going to start by adding in those double 2x8s on this side, and then we'll figure out how to support this. Okay, so I got my double trimmers installed, and I figured out the terminology. These are double trimmers, which are doubled up floor joists that are going to be flush with the edge of my staircase. And then I'm going to have a double header that is hung with a joist hanger from there to my other double trimmer. And then you've got the tail joists. These are the tail joists that are going to hang on that double header with joist hangers as well. Okay, so I've gone ahead and constructed this temporary I-beam. So I need to figure out how to get this up there and support the tail joist over here. This is my this is a tail joist as well. That's my double trimmer. So from the double trimmer to the double trimmer down there, all these tail joists need to be supported by this I-beam and some jack studs or something like that that goes down to the floor. When I cut them, they will be supported fully and not hang free, and then I can get in my double header. Okay, so I've got my double trimmers in and my double headers are in. I've also gone ahead and permanently, I guess. I nailed them to the joist so that everything is supported. Now, in order to permanently fasten those, I'm gonna be using joist hangers, and these are 2x8 joist hangers. These are 2x8 joist hangers from Simpson Strong Tie, and this is a double 2x8 joist hanger. So this double 2x8 is going to go over our double header, and we're gonna temporarily secure that in place. Kinda. All right, and then we're going to secure that with connector screws. You can also use joist hanger nails, but for this, we're gonna be using the Simpson Strong Tie connector screws. Now, before we could actually start to frame out the stairs, we had a few other things we needed to do, including lifting the house and adding about 2 feet to the foundation. Now, this is gonna give us an 8-foot, 8-inch first floor or basement level. So that kind of needed to happen, but also we had a lot of things that we needed to do to the foundation to kind of fortify that and make sure that that was nice and sound. With the house lift out of the way, then we can move on to insulating the basement, which included the walls, but also the floor. We added 2 inches of foam insulation above the slab and then installed subfloor to that. All of these things had an impact on the stairs, so we needed to go ahead and get those out of the way before we can move on to framing the steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the height and confirm that it is about where we had estimated, and then we'll plan out our stair stringers and start cutting those. Okay, we are at 113.5 inches to that, which is about what we had estimated as well. So we'll go ahead and lay that out. And the way that I usually do it, not usually do it, the only way that I've done it, which is this time because this is my first time building a staircase, is to just Google stair stringer calculator. There's a ton of different calculators online, and we'll be able to take our total rise, which is what this is, obviously plus our flooring and whatnot, which our flooring is going to be consistent. So we're going to use that 113.5, and that will calculate, we'll give it a target riser height, and then that will calculate how many steps we need and all of our stair stringer steps and all that good stuff. All right, first things first, this is where our stair stringers are going to lean against, but the problem is that our tread height is 7 9/16, which is like right here. So basically we'd only have about an inch or less for the top of our stringer to lean against. So what we're gonna do is I've cut a 2x12, and I'm gonna stick this up here and tack that in place very, very well. And I'm gonna leave it just about 1.5 inches shy so that I can add that overhang to match the rest of the stair treads at the bottom or below. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this guy up here. All right, so I put in the total rise as 113.5 inches. The target step height is 7.5. That's a good step height. Our tread thickness is 1.5, and our tread depth is 10.5. And I did that because we're going to be using 2x12s for the treads, since we're going to be carpeting everything. A 2x12 is 11.25 minus 10.5. That's going to give me a 3/4 inch overhang, which I think will look good. So for that, we got 14 steps on the stringer. Our step height is 7 9/16, and of course our run is 10.5. So that gives us, I think it was a total run of 147 or something like that. But so this is a framing square, and then these are stair gauges, and essentially what I've done is I've already gone ahead and clamped them in place at 10.5 on the run, and the rise is 7 9/16. Now, the first thing you do is come here to the end of the board and you lay out the first tracing of your stair. So you got your run and your rise. Now, I've already gone ahead and laid this out because this is my first time doing it, so I'm going to try and explain it and not do it for the first time on camera. But you go to your next stair and you basically line this up with this line here, the stair gauge, and then you mark that out, right? Okay, so this is actually going to be our first stair. We can transfer this line. Think of this as ground level. This is going to be waist. We're going to transfer that. Now, the other thing is we won't have a stair tread down here. This will be your floor, right? So we need to take out 1.5 inches, which you can see that I've already done. So you can take a scrap board, or you can take, actually, this side of the framing square is 1.5 inches as well, and you can compare that there. But we'll take that and we'll mark 1.5 inches there for our tread to reduce that height by 1.5 inches. So your first rise is going to be smaller than all the other ones because you'll have a tread here, but obviously no tread down here. So the other thing that we need to take out is this 2x4 that is going to connect the bottom of all of our stair stringers. So we're going to go ahead and trace that out, and that's going to come out. This is going to come out. This is scrap. So we've got our first run here notched out for that 2x4, and then you come down and you simply just continue to line these up and run out 14 stairs. Okay, we're really cutting it close on this board, and I had to kind of finagle to get this last step in place. However, for the rise part of that step, basically I just continue that line so this is, so you got your run, this is going to be your top step, and then we'll take this rise and then transfer it to the back. So this is going to be the back of our stringer right here. Now the issue is that on all of these we're going to have a 3/4 inch riser on the face of this, but we're not going to have a 3/4 inch riser on the top of this because we'll use what we're setting it against as our riser. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and mark out 3/4 inch, and then we can cut that off as well. So essentially this run up top will be about 3/4 inch, will be exactly 3/4 inch less than the rest. So before I get started cutting, I want to make sure to point out that the crown, if the board has a crown, which means that, you know, it goes up and down, you want the top of the crown, the high spot on the board, up or towards the point of your stairs. And since this is a structural element, obviously that's going to help load that board correctly. All right, time for a test fit. So, oh my goodness, this is a long stair tread. All right, so we're gonna get this in place. I've got my line up there where it needs to be. And what I'm gonna do is line that up with that. And I'm just gonna put a screw in here just to temporarily hold it. now we'll check level, and we are level. Look at that. I love when the maths, James. That one's a little, yeah, it's between the lines. It's close enough. That's our stairs. Okay, so now I just need to do that 3 more times. We're gonna use this one as a template, and we'll line it up on this board, trace it out, and continue cutting. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut some 2x4 strong backs, and these are gonna be secured to the back of the stair stringer. That's just gonna provide a little bit more rigidity, but also what it's gonna do is I'm going to tack this up against the wall first, because when I had my when I fit checked the stair stringer, I actually put some lines on these studs on the bottom of the stair stringer so that I could attach this to the wall and then space the stair stringer off of the wall by that 1.5 inches. What that's gonna allow me to do is it's going to allow me to tuck drywall behind there, as well as that stair skirt board, which is gonna be a trim piece over top of the drywall. It's gonna give me that cavity to be able to tuck all that behind the stairs instead of trying to notch around each stair tread. So we'll go ahead and stick this thing up where this is supposed to go. All right, now I'm gonna go back up the ladder and fit check this one more time, get it on my line that I drew up here, so I know exactly where this is gonna go. And then I'm gonna somehow get this thing back here. This is my stair stringer angle, and there's a little bend mark on the back of that stair stringer bracket. All right, now I can take this down, and I know that needs to be placed right there. So we got our stringers in and everything looks good. These strong backs are gonna add a lot of rigidity. Now we've got a 42-inch wide step. I'm gonna be using 2x12s for that. And then we've got 1x8s for the risers. Now I put this strong back on this side of the stringer because we're actually going to be framing out a wall on this side, but to give us that gap that I was talking about earlier, that will allow for that. So we're gonna go ahead and cut all the treads now and start putting those in place, and this staircase will be just about done. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and secure these treads in here. Put this one the other way. But I'm gonna secure these treads in here with screws so they're temporary. Otherwise, for a permanent installation, you would wanna lay down a bead of glue. That's gonna prevent any squeaking and whatnot. But for now, if we need to take these out or whatever at some later date during the construction, we'll be able to do so. All right, we've got the stairs in temporarily, at least. The treads are in temporarily. But the biggest thing I want to point out is that the stairs span about 12 feet, which exceeds the maximum span of cut stair stringers, which is 6 feet. So we need some support in here to support the middle of the staircase. And we're going to do that after we frame up our wall on this side. This is going to be where all of our mechanicals are stored, as well as some really cool under stair storage over here to come. So we'll get right to that in just a bit. So I don't know if you caught this when I installed the stair stringers, but I installed them basically so that the riser was this height. I wasn't accounting for the step tread at the top, so my stair stringers are a little bit too high, making my last step a little bit too shallow. So, which would explain why these were not perfectly level. So what we need to do is we need to take all this back apart, and then we need to lower these stairs by about 1.5 inches. All right guys, so we got the stairwell framed out. It's completed. The risers and the steps are glued into place. We also framed out this wall, which is going to enclose our mechanical room. We've got the door well here, but over here towards this space, since I'm not gonna be able to get anything under there, we wanted to utilize that space. I went ahead and framed this 24 on center so we can get a little bit bigger drawer or some sort of storage underneath of there. Now that we've got the stairs all done, we did actually get some framing done upstairs, so I'm gonna take you on up there and show you around. After getting the stairs framed out, then we can move on to the demolition upstairs. That included removing all of the walls and the surfaces on those walls, which in this case were mostly paneling. And we only came across about 8 bats that fell out of the attic, so I guess that's a win. But I will say that getting all of that insulation out of the ceiling was the most difficult part. A lot more work and nastiness than I thought, for sure. With all the demo out of the way, then we can move on to the framing. Now we needed to leave one of the walls up to start framing because that was supporting all the existing ceiling joists. The ceiling joists in this case are acting like rafter ties, and that is what is keeping the top of our second story walls from going out. So we needed to keep all those in until we started installing the new ceiling joists. We needed to install new ceiling joists because those were only 2x4s and they really weren't doing much. So we went ahead and upped those to 2x8s. Not only will that cover all the spans that we needed, but it'll also give us a little bit more strength so that we can have some storage upstairs. Now, one thing you'll notice as you come up the stairs, we framed out this big window right here, and there was a small window here, which you can hear that Tyvek kind of going with the wind, but this window is going to have a lake view from the top of the stairwell. Man, that is loud with the wind. So as you come up the stairs, we'll have a linen closet here, and then we will have a stackable washer and dryer here. Now you can see the plumbers have already started. The stackable washer and dryer has a pan underneath of it that's connected to the drainage system. So that is going, if anything ever goes wrong and that overflows, it's gonna drain out, which that's a really nice feature to have. Gone ahead and got the tub in. This is gonna be the guest bathroom. So Remember, there was no bathrooms up here before, but we've got the tub, shower combo here, toilet over here, and then there will be a vanity here. Now over here, we've got the guest bedroom. Now this is going to have a big window right here. Bed will go here. That is a lake view. Transom window over the bed for more daylight, and then a smaller-ish closet here just to maximize the actual living space. Now, I know it's dark, but over here, this is going to be the kids' bunk room. So we'll have a bunk there, and a bunk there, and a window here, obviously covered up. Small closet over here, hang a TV on the wall over there. Now, for the master, this is the coolest part of the house in my opinion. We've got the walk-in closet. Now, this doorwell is framed a little bit wider because we're going to be using a pocket door, being able to walk in here and have hanging on both sides, one for me, one for her, or both for her. You know how it goes. So over here, this is the master bedroom. One thing we did do was, since we needed all new ceiling joists throughout, we went ahead in this area and bumped up a tray ceiling just to give us a little bit more height up here. But we also added, or took out the existing windows and added a window over here. And behind that wall, I cannot wait to show you guys, that is going to be a massive window with lake view. We'll have a doorwell here that will walk out onto a future deck, and then we have the master bathroom. Now the master bathroom's not huge, smaller vanity here, toilet and shower, just a typical layout, and a window, another lake view. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Not only did we relocate the staircase, but we were able to get a ton of framing done upstairs, as well as the starts of our rough mechanicals, which will be more to come. But before that, in the next video, we're gonna need to address the sheathing on the outside. It is just standard lap board siding with no weather resistant barrier, and we've got a ton of work to do there to prepare for that siding. So until next time, be safe and happy building.